time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits, whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts. This is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. It is Monday morning for you guys out there, starting another week off here, the first official week in October. So how fun is that? The fall season is here. We have baseball playoffs starting up. We have the NFL, college football in full swing. And before you know it, we'll have NHL starting and that sport. What's it? NBA, I think it's called, something like that. I wouldn't know personally, but anyway, a lot of great things ahead here for the podcast as well. This is a Monday morning edition of the podcast during the football season. So we will be chatting about the Rio Hondo Prep victory from this weekend. We are recording this on Sunday, and the game was yesterday, Saturday afternoon game, noon start, I should say, high noon there at Bosco Tech. Rio Hondo Prep came out victorious 41-0, another blowout win. Some good things, some bad things. We'll talk about all of those with head football coach Mark Carson, just kind of recapping the game, talking about the team as we're heading into league play here. League play starts this Friday against Campbell Hall. And if you remember, we've talked about it on this show before, but with the uniqueness to this league, because there's two, top dogs really in I forget their names from Lancaster. Oh, I should know this. Paraclete, I believe. I could be wrong. Anyway, I've messed it up already. I've messed it up. Sierra Canyon's the other one. Anyway, there's two top teams in the league who aren't playing these other schools. So basically, because they're just a different level really than everybody else, they are going to be the 1 and 2 seed representatives in the league. So with the remaining 3 teams, or is it 4? See, I'm already messed up this morning. I haven't had enough coffee, but however many teams left, there's only one playoff spot. And if you had to kind of predict who that playoff spot would go to, it was either going to be Rio Hondo Prep or Campbell Hall. Brentwood's in the mix too. They're pretty good as well. So kind of 3 teams. There is a 4th team, Viewpoint, but they are probably not necessarily in the hunt, we'll say. But anyway, basically 3 teams going for 1 spot. So this game is huge. And remember, there's no real automatic at-large bids anymore. You can't leave it up to anything anymore with CIF for sure. So this game is really, really important on Friday. They're only taking 1 team from this setup they got going. So 3 teams or 4 teams going for 1 spot. Basically, Rio has 3 league games. Whoever has the best record out of those 3 teams is going to advance. So Brentwood, Viewpoint, and Campbell Hall this weekend. And it goes without saying that you don't want to leave it up to any tiebreakers or anything, 3-way ties or 2-way, 4-way ties. You don't want to leave it up to anything like that. So got to handle business Friday. Huge game. We're going to talk to Mark about Campbell Hall a little bit as well, kind of previewing that game since it is such a big one. And then after that interview, we're going to be joined by senior Calvin Johnson. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing from the players the past few weeks. Gio Ortega, Damian Diaz, trying to bring on a senior every week and see what they're like, get their insight from behind the helmet, if you will, from inside the helmet or on the field, or whatever the phrase is or should be. But anyway, that's the plan for today. Hope you guys will enjoy today's episode. I really want to say thank you to a few people out there who wrote in, emailed the show, if you will. I've been requesting that people do that the past few weeks just to kind of, get the blood flowing and stimulate some conversation here from the fans. So we're going to hear 2 great questions. One from John Lee, our good friend up in Oregon, who's a big fan of the show. And we heard from Jessica Sanchez. She's Jessica Hanna now, but Jessica Sanchez, who was the cousin of a classmate of mine at Rio, Becky Hetty. And Jessica has a brother who plays on the current team, Jaden Sanchez. So great question she sent in. So 2 great questions we'll send to Coach Carson and see what he has to say. So let me get a coffee refill here, and then we're going to bring on Coach Mark Carson today, recapping the game from yesterday and then previewing the upcoming game. I'm not sure again what our Wednesday show is going to be. I did a Facebook Live last week, kind of with some NFL predictions. I think what I'm going to do is just do a short show on Wednesdays. If Bill Barnes does not return, and if he does, great. Or if he comes on, weekly or monthly or whatever, whenever, if he can come in at all, we'd love to have him. But since it is football season, while we're doing the Rio preview and recap show on Mondays, I think I'll do kind of a sports and random thoughts show on Wednesdays for now. And then when the Rio season ends, hopefully near December or something like that, we'll adjust the schedule accordingly. But for now, that's the schedule. Rio football on Mondays, kind of random sports or random topics just with me. Probably be a real quick show too, like 30 minutes. And then of course a great guest on Friday. And I got a great guest this Friday that I may or may not tell you guys about at the end of the show. But let's bring on Coach Carson after, of course, I grab myself another cup of coffee. But let's get into the Rio Hondo Prep Football chat with head football coach Mark Carson. Okay, joined once again by the head football coach of Rio Hondo Prep, Mark Carson, coming off of a 41-0 victory over Bosco Tech to improve to 6-0. Good morning, Coach Carson.
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. Doing very well. Always better after a win.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mark, I was actually in attendance for the first half of your game on Saturday against the Bosco Tech Tigers. Kind of a unique atmosphere, we'll say. No bleachers on either side, kind of a hill behind you guys where parents brought their chairs, and they were trying. They had a little band there, a little snack shack. I mean, what'd you make of the morning? I don't know how to say it. The morning environment there at Bosco Tech on Saturday.
Yeah, I guess they had always played rented a field traditionally up until maybe last year, and they had this new beautiful looking artificial field put in, and but it doesn't seem like it's quite ready to host a game with nowhere for the fans, and especially if you're playing it in the morning or afternoon as it was. No real shade, and so you had all these canopies, all these pop-ups, these easy ups, and I'm sure they obstructed the fans' views, and we had 4 on our sideline just to provide some shade. And so, it was a unique experience, but we give them credit for trying. And I'd love for their sake to see them, get some lights on that field, or at least just play, move your games to morning game times or something.
Well, it's not like you couldn't throw some bleachers there behind the bank. You and I talked about that yesterday. I mean, throw some bleachers up. It's not an ideal situation, but you could make that a decent home space there, home game. Yeah. So
yeah. And they got great parking, like you said, they had a nice concession setup. So it's, they're not that far away.
No.
And, so good for them to get games on campus. I know that means a lot. No one likes going off campus for every game. So good for them doing that. And hopefully get it going. Their coach seemed like a
Oh yeah. They seemed very, they were trying hard, competing, and I like seeing programs that put in effort, one way or another. Effort as far, not on the field, but that matters too. But just everything around it. You and I've talked about that before. I mean, just everything that goes into a football program. So yeah, best of luck to the Tigers and moving forward. I saw Mike Minner across the way running the clock over there. I know his son played at Bosco and for you guys, so that was kind of cool to see. But Mark, let's talk about the game. Then we'll get into Campbell Hall this upcoming Friday, which I know we definitely want to talk about. And then we had 2 questions for you from some fans, alumni, and then a third came in from our good friend Nick Gonzalez. So 3 questions for you today. I hope you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, so 41-0 on paper looks like a good win, Mark. But to start the game, it was hot for October, and that should never be an excuse. It's hot for both teams, the officials, everybody. But honestly, I thought you guys looked a little a little sluggish. You fumbled on the second play of the game. Do you think the heat or the day game or the, coming straight off the bus, not having a locker room, kind of not having your regular setup, do you think that had to do anything with kind of your slow start?
Maybe it's the normal energy that you have that you on a Friday night wasn't there at the level that we like to have it. That it was definitely hot, I'm not gonna lie. And when you're playing on an artificial surface, the heat's not only coming from above, it's coming from the ground too. And if you're uncomfortable watching it as a fan or just standing there as a coach, imagine having all that equipment on and running around. But yeah, like you said, it's the same for both teams, and no excuses either way. And so, yeah, the fumble on that first drive was not ideal. And you do that. We do that next week, and we're gonna we'd pay for it big time. So it's something that we got to make sure we're ready to go. But it happens, and so it's good for our guys to have to deal with that little adversity and push through it. It was, most games, they're so fun and they happen so fast. Like, wait, it's over, and I think yesterday with the heat, it was kind of like, man, when is it over? I think that, and so I think it was a little bit different that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, adversity's good. You got through it. You guys got it going eventually, but you're right. If you make kind of those mistakes against a really good team in Campbell Hall or someone in the playoffs, I mean, that's going to hurt you. Can't remember you guys turning the ball over this early in a game. I know it's kind of come late in games with second or third string guys in there. So that was interesting. And the other thing that struck me, and we've talked a lot about your offense and how versatile it is. It seemed to me like you guys came out in a new look, kind of this spread formation. Were you guys trying something new there? Or, I mean, I don't know. That's what, to me, the timing seemed off on everything as well. I mean, or am I just seeing things?
Yeah, no, you're on it 100%. We wanted to, we did some no huddle too. So we wanted to get a little work on our no huddle game. And we decided, let's just do it at the start of the game, rather than, it wouldn't look good to do it if we get up. And so, we haven't had a chance to do that in a game, because we've always been up. And so we're like, let's just start with no huddle and our spread. And that's why, yeah, it definitely looked a little different.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just observing. In
Right.
In Randy, we trust. No, great play caller, best in the business. But yeah, it was interesting to me to see that. It's like, okay, we haven't seen that before to my knowledge, but you're right. You got to practice these things in game situation, in real life games, because you don't want it the second round of the playoffs to be the first time you're doing something really. So no, I understood it. I understood it all for sure. Something that stuck out for me on the sideline, great work, but everyone on the sideline had a water bottle. I mean, I think I heard you guys were running low on water by halftime. I mean, the staff and the non-players, if you will, everyone was doing a great job really in keeping guys hydrated. I saw you guys had little spray bottles, that for, I don't know, the barbers use and stuff. I mean, that was very unique. You guys are every little trick in the trade you guys could do to stay hydrated out there.
Yeah. Credit Dr. Walsh with being on top of that. And that was spray bottles were actually his idea. And then we brought towels. We brought an ice, a cooler full of ice and water, and just would get the towels wet. And anytime the guys came off, just kind of squeeze that on top of them, down their back, drench them with that. Just try to keep their body temperature down, keep them cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the manager, and he had 3 jugs of water, and we ran out. We were running out. So I think we were able to fill up at halftime. Hard
work by the hydration crew. Yeah, that's cool, man. You guys got to get one of those giant cool zone, cooled mist sprays that they have on those NFL sidelines and such. Those would probably cost a pretty penny. But anyway,
yeah, that'd be a good idea.
You alumni out there who you alumni out there who want to contribute in some way. There's a few hot teams. Anyway, Mark.
Yeah, here.
I'm sorry, we're on kind of a little delay here, Mark. We'll get through it. I'll try to not interrupt you, and then there's kind of a slight delay after I'm done talking, but we'll get through it. It's just adversity. We'll fight through it, man.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all we can do. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so the other thing that stuck out, Mark, was one of your top players, your big guy on the field, really. Ryan McCullough did not play. He did not dress. I mean, that's not a secret to anybody that was there or watched. I mean, he did not participate, didn't even dress. So can you comment on his status for this Friday's game?
Yeah, he's going to go Friday for sure. It was more of a precautionary thing after he was injured in the Linfield game the week before, and just want to keep him as fresh as possible for Friday, big one on Friday. So
absolutely,
he's going to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He'll be good to go. Good to hear it. Precaution is good, and keeping guys fresh for sure, especially when you have such a small roster. I mean, one injury really sets off a whole chain of events. We're feel it. You're not just losing one guy; you're losing 4 positions at least, right? So, good to be cautious. Good to be cautious. Sluggish start. I talked about that. Then you went to the Rio running game. You really paid off there. Not much to be said about this game except for the the heat and the kind of the start. But a little comedy, if you will. Mark, I've watched a lot of football over the years. A lot. I've been a part of games. I've seen some really weird things. I think you know where I'm going with this. I cannot remember ever, maybe one time, seeing a kickoff go backwards. You guys had a negative yard kickoff. You tried an onside early on. The ball spun the weird way. I was glad you guys jumped on it because I thought a Bosco kid was going to take it for 6. But do you care to comment on the backwards kickoff you guys had?
Not how we practiced it, to say the least. And yeah, I agree. I don't think I've ever seen that. And I was just like, what was that? And our kicker responded well with his next few kicks, including our PATs and stuff. So it's all good. But that was ugly and kind of embarrassing.
Sorry, I had to comment because I it was a little steamy on the field and particularly on the sideline at that time. I was glad I was there for that and to see it in person. What a backwards kickoff. Oh, funny to laugh about. It won't happen again. I know that. Anyway, you guys are up 27-0.5. You guys pulled away 41-0.
Maybe he had sweat.
Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe he had sweat in his eyes or something. I don't know.
Sweat in his eyes? Yeah, who knows? No, he does a great job on the kicks, but that was just really funny to see. And maybe, more practice, who knows, will pay off, but really funny stuff. Gio, another punt return. I still can't figure out. I hope guys keep kicking to him, punting to him, but another punt return for him. Big play there. And then Jonathan Guerrero really got going. Calvin Johnson, who will be on the program later today. We've talked about him before, but with Ryan being out, Calvin really got more involved in the offense this week, particularly with carries.
Yeah, he's our second Fox that we call him, or fullback, and Calvin's cool. He's like the Swiss Army knife on our team. He can literally play anywhere on the field and do it well. And so we even have like lineman jersey throw on, and he had to. That's just a credit to him, how good of a football player he is, and he's good at it. So it's cool. It's cool for him.
Yeah, it's nice to see a Johnson fullback. A little history there from Rio Hondo Prep. His old man, Rick Johnson. Who was I talking with? Jeff Fairley on the sideline. We were chatting about the fullback position and how the Rio Hondo offense used to basically be, there's tailback U at SC, and then kind of fullback high was Rio Hondo Prep. The fullback was the featured back in the offense. It's changed a little bit, but yeah, Rick Johnson, Rod Heaton. I'll probably forget a bunch of names, but the fullback really was the featured back in the day.
Yeah, and Jeff himself was a fullback his junior year on that team. So, fullback is always been an important position. He's not the feature guy anymore, but always been an important part of our offense. And it's like a unicorn in modern day football. The team's playing with fullbacks. You don't see it very often.
I know the 49ers come to mind. They got a good guy in Juszczyk, I think, a really good fullback. Yeah, I love me a good fullback, especially catching passes out in the of town. Tom Rathman, Daryl Moose Johnson. But yeah, in modern football, it's kind of gone away. It's good to see you guys using 2 or even 3 backs sometimes. So yeah, Calvin got more carries. We'll talk with him later today. Mark, I want to get to a few questions before we lose you today. We got, I thought we had 2 questions. I actually got 3 questions. They're all in written word. So let's go to, we heard from John Lee, Jessica Hannah, and Nick Gonzalez, all Rio alums. So here's the first question from Jessica Hannah, class of 08, sister to Jaden Sanchez, a player on your team. She says, question for Mark. Having grown up in Care and Pearl and Rio, I know what it feels like to basically grow up with your team, but watching it happen on my brother's team has been extra special. They are very close class and great friends. Do you think Rio has an advantage, even when playing other schools that may have more talent, because many of our teams have played together since childhood? Have you noticed correlations with better seasons played and better relationships amongst the teammates? Thanks. Go Rio. Go number 51. Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, great question, Jessica. And I think you hit it right on the button. It's definitely an advantage I think we have. Probably 9 out of 10 football programs in America will have talk about brotherhood and all this. And, everyone talks about it. But at Rio, it's authentic. And so you not only have guys who play football together, but they've been playing football together for maybe 6 years. Our middle school team through high school, and they might have played against each other in Care Youth League. And then they're with each other. A lot of schools, you play football, season ends, everyone goes their separate ways. But our guys are together playing other sports. And then we travel together, and in the summers, they do class trips and all that together. And so they know each other as close as the closest brothers would. And so you think about that when you go on the field, you do not want to let that guy down, and you do not want to, and he knows if you're really going after it and getting after it, because you know each other so well. And so, yeah, Jessica, without a doubt, that's a huge advantage we have. And then just the chemistry that goes with that, right? And so you have great chemistry and knowing who's going to, on defense, you're going to know, hey, I know that guy's going to be here at the right time. I know he's going to be on time. I know he's going to have his pitch right. He's going to take a good angle, and you know what he brings, strengths and weaknesses to the team. And so that's great. And another great aspect, there's a lot that you can say about this subject, but just the accountability factor. You're holding each other accountable. And I think football is one of the few segments in society nowadays where there is accountability, right? And that's extra true when the guy playing next to you is someone and you've known for years. If you went back to elementary school with him, you've known him 10 years. And so they're going to be accountable to each other on the field, of course, and off the field. And so it's a really cool dynamic. And it was funny. I had after the game, the Bosco Tech coach, Coach Rogers, was asking me, hey man, I love to pick your brain when the season ends, see how you guys do it and chat with you guys sometime. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. That sounds good. And I'd be happy to help, but it couldn't be explained in one quick sentence and what we do. And it's something, that aspect of our school. Very few schools, Bosco just starts in 9th grade, right? So you're not going to have these guys who've been together for so many years. And so, yeah, it's a long answer to Jessica's question, but 100% yes, it's part of the secret sauce at Rio Hondo Prep.
No, it'd be hard to replicate really what Rio does with, the kids. And other programs have kind of youth football or junior high football, but there's not many. And I think it's a tribute to them, that's the schools that do that. So, and it's nice to see, Mark, that, to Jessica's question here, like, people notice it. She's a sister to Jaden, of course. So she's kind of got a front row seat, but it's nice to see that people do notice and pay attention and are like, hey man, there's some magic to this. And so, yeah, great question. Jaden, her brother played well yesterday, made a few really good tackles. I was very impressed. So thank you for the question, Jessica, Hannah, and what's up?
Yeah. Jaden's an awesome football player. And Mike. Okay.
Sorry for the technical issues. Mark, what were you saying about Jaden Sanchez?
Oh, he's just an awesome football player. Great O lineman, and then even better, Mike linebacker. The heart and soul really of our defense. If you want to watch the game kind of from a different perspective, just watch Jaden and just focus on 51 and what's he doing, the plays he's making, and you would have a great time just watching that. And you say, well, I'm going to miss the action. I'm like, no, you're not, because he'll end up at the ball every play. You know, it's awesome player.
Yeah, I think my buddy Chris Gonzalez. I went to a football Niners Rams game with my friend Chris, and the Niners were really good, playing great defense, and he was really funny. He goes, "Hey, Patrick Willis was a great linebacker for the Niners," and he said, "Hey, if you want to find the ball, just watch 52. He'll take you there," or whatever it was. So no, you're right, Jaden. I love linebacker play, and yeah, he does a great job for you guys. Sorry, we are just on a pause one. I don't know what's going on with this technology today. We'll keep going. Thank you, Jessica, Hannah, for that question, and for Coach Carson. Very in-depth question there. Good stuff. Maybe it's your location, Mark. I don't know. So he's going outside. Yeah, put your right hand in the sky. See ya, and then lift your leg. Don't move. Working on reception here. Anyway, Coach, another question from. Yeah, that's good. Oh, we got a sweet playground back there, man. You got a great setup.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir. He's now outside. He's with the fortress behind him for his girls to run around in. Okay, let's get a question from John Lee, our good friend up in Oregon, class of 92, I think. I could be wrong. Anyway, John's been on here before. John's really got, I don't know if you've seen him in a while, Mark. John is pretty fit. That dude, he's pumped some iron. And so no doubt he'd ask you this. He says, I would like to know a little bit about the weight training program and its growth to where it is now versus back in the day when building the bleachers was the extent of it.
Yeah, well, it's come a long way. We had a dedicated weight room, which we never had in high school, but we have one. And then over the pandemic, that huge project we did has just really transformed it into a college level facility. Maybe not the size that you would see at a college program, but the as far as the level of equipment that we got from Rogue Fitness, which is really there's Rogue and then there's everybody else. And then the space, is great. We can work out essentially the whole team at one time. And if you haven't been down to see it at Rio, next time you're down, John, or anybody else, feel free to connect with me and we'll show you around. It's made just a huge difference in our program for this year and will continue for many years, which is exciting. And the finishing touches aren't even all done yet. It's fully functional, but it's just been a huge blessing. And we estimate we didn't spend out this much cash, but in-kind donations and the work that was done and the money raised, we estimate it's about a 350. And you'll see it if you come down and be very impressed and probably a little jealous from your playing days that we have that. But moving forward, it's going to be a great tool. And so, as far as off season, got to credit our good friend Gabe Perez, who owned and operated a CrossFit gym for a long time. He helped design a program for us, knowing the Rio Hondo Prep athlete and what we're asked to do. We asked our kids to do, and that's been really useful. And we're still using his stuff and that he designed, and both for the summer training, which was more intense, 4 or 5 days a week, and now we're in our in-season mode where the guys will lift 2 days a week, sometimes 3, and they'll have we have a agility, speed, and cardio sessions that go with that. It kind of all ties together to make the complete athlete, complete football player, a guy that can go out on a 100-degree day playing on artificial surface. It feels like 110 and play the game and not really come out and win 40-0. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I don't know if that quite answered the question, but yeah.
No, I've seen the weight room in person. You gave me a little tour. It's come a long way. I was blown away when I walked in there. I saw the amount of weights you guys had, the amount of Olympic setups there. You had it for those that don't know, it's been totally remodeled. Where for the old alumni, where it used to be the old locker room underneath, or kind of by concession, that boys' locker room and the girls' bathroom there, and the old, what would that have been? The science lab. I mean, that is all turned in.
Yeah.
That's all like one long weight room now. And there's more projects in the works, right? Going to be, I think, a TV you were saying, and we got to get some photos for the fans, and I'll post it on the page.
Once it's all finished, we'll do a tour or something.
Yeah.
I'll go down there on a morning. And
it's a lot more than that rusty bench press we used to have underneath the scoreboard at Care Field there. And you got some windows you can look out on it's a really nice setup, Mark. You guys have done a great job with it. John, you got to fly down just to get a workout in.
Yes, John. And you can, if you're down here, feel free. If you need to get a pump in down visiting your folks, your dad or your brother, you come by and get a pump in for sure. And yeah.
Yes, and of course you mentioned it. You were breaking up a little bit, but a lot of again, alumni and just donations. I mean, the program is really blessed to have people that contribute so much.
Yeah, huge support, and we couldn't have done it without them. So thank you all those out there who chipped in and were part of it.
Well, Mark, one final question from Nick Gonzalez, who was on the first ever Rio Hondo 11-man championship team, a former, I think he played for you as a kid too, right? On Care Youth League.
Right.
Yeah. So,
yes,
yeah, good stuff. So Nick Gonzalez from the class of 06, my brother's class, and on that championship team in 05, who beat Campbell Hall, which we'll get to here before we got to let you go. But he says, "Hi, Mark. I know you mentioned there is only one playoff spot up for grabs in your league. However, is an at-large bid another possibility in getting in as well? I'm going to do my best to get out there on Friday night."
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, Nick was a great player. I believe he got the game-clinching interception against Campbell Hall in that CIF championship game. So,
right.
Good player. Great to hear from you, Nick. Short answer is no. If we don't win out in league, we're most likely not going into playoffs. Now there is, and this is all a brand new system for everybody, so no one knows for sure, but they say there are some at-larges, but it really depends on where you fall in the rankings and where that puts you in what division that puts you in, and if that division has open spots. And so really to get a at-large berth with Dave Drain, who kind of analyzes all this stuff for our staff, and really kind of dug deep in the weeds and figured it out. He just says you'd have to get lucky. And so the only way to guarantee playoffs is to win out. And then if not, we would have to hope to get lucky. And we don't want to leave it to luck, obviously.
Well, and theoretically, I mean, you could lose a game in league. I mean, it's four teams going for one spot. So whoever has the best record out of those four teams, right, is going to advance.
Correct. Yeah. And I guess if there would be a tie or something, you'd have to do a league tiebreaker. Which would be this league, I think it's just going to flip. Yeah.
Oh, we hate those. We do hate those. Well, Mark, let's talk about Campbell Hall. And look, I don't want to dismiss Viewpoint, but when you look at Campbell Hall and Brentwood, I mean, they are probably the top dogs, the top competition you guys are going to face this year. You first have to play Campbell Hall. I saw here they're 7-0. This game is Friday night at Care Park in Irwindale. 7-0, some impressive victories. One common opponent was Pasadena Poly in week 3 for them, August 27th. They beat September 3rd, 54-7. They've put up a lot of points, it seems. Their one close game was a 27-23 win over La Cañada High School. Other than that, they've really put up 40, 50 points a game, even 60 points in one case. What do you know about Campbell Hall? Have you seen film? Have you seen them? What are your thoughts on playing them this Friday night?
Yeah, watched several of the games on film, and including the Poly game. Coach Smoke was kind enough to share that with us. And then went and saw them live last night, and they're legit. So it's a spread offense with two really talented wide receivers and a quarterback who's kind of a dual threat, but can spread the ball around, great arm, and can also tuck it down and run. So, and that's backed up by a good O-line, good scheme. You can tell they're well coached. So we're going to have our hands full, to say the least, but it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to the challenge as a staff, and I know the guys are looking forward to the game. Homecoming, so there's going to be probably even a little bigger crowd than we might normally have. Yeah, it's going to be fun, and it's for all the marbles. So
yeah, definitely. It's
then,
like a playoff game in the middle of the season, which is cool. And I like what you guys, I don't know if this is always a part of the scheduling, but I feel like Rio, some schools bring in kind of a doormat to play during homecoming. So it's a nice special night. Everyone goes home happy. Rio, I feel like always brings in a tough competitor. So guys, seriously, if you haven't been to a game this year, this is the one to get to. Homecoming, biggest game of the year. We've said it a few times on the podcast, but this one really is against the Campbell Hall Vikings. So homecoming. Yeah. I love the scheduling, Mark.
Yeah. The homecoming date is actually picked by the Carey Youth League girls program and how it fits in their schedule as far as, because they're doing the halftime entertainment. So it's really luck of the draw. Sometimes we get a good game, sometimes we don't, but this year it's going to be a great game. So you're going to get your money's worth.
What, how are they defensively? I have seen they have given up some points in some of their blowouts. They've still kind of given up, 20 plus points, even though they're scoring 50 or 60. So what do you see defensively from them?
Yeah, they're solid defensively. Like us, though, a lot of their guys are playing both ways. So maybe they might have a little more depth, but pretty much the same deal as us, So their best players are playing both ways. They fly around. They're good. They're really solid. We haven't seen them play a team like us, a team that kind of a ground and pound run team. Everyone they play pretty much is a spread offense. And so we'll see how they line up and that'll be some in-game improvisation on figuring out how they're trying to stop us and how we block them. But yeah, they're good. I mean, they're a good team.
Yeah.
And I think it's the game. This is the first game all year where we're at least according to Cal Preps, the underdog. So it'll be good.
No, it'll be interesting. Again, with the spread offense, it sounds like they got some great athletes and they execute it. That has been something that, if we're honest, over the years has given you guys some fits at times when things are, out in the open on the perimeter, but you guys got some darn good athletes as well. So maybe this year, I think your secondary is going to get a lot of work. I don't know how much, don't say anything, of course, but I don't know. It's going to be a chess match, I think, for you guys. Like, do we blitz a lot? Do we drop more? If your front three gets great pressure, like it did yesterday, that's a game changer for you guys. So defensively, yeah, you're going to have your hands full. I believe in the Rio Hondo offense. I think it's going to ground and pound and then bust a big play here and there. But defensively, I think is where this game is going to be won, Mark.
Yeah, we got to get stops. We think we go into a game, we got to get a combination of six takeaways, 3 and outs, or 4th down stops. If we get a total of that, we'll win the game. And combined total somehow of those 3 elements, takeaways, 3 and outs, or 4th down stops, I think our offense is going to, like you said, be effective. And it's gonna be total football, and we got to win the game, and whatever it takes to do that, we're gonna have to do.
I saw the team before the game kind of huddle up. I think it was right before the anthem or after, and you guys huddled up and put your arms around each other. first time seeing that in person, something kind of new for me that I've seen, but what is that? Is that just one final little pep talk for you guys, or is that a team prayer? Do you say the alma mater? I mean, what goes on in that little huddle? If you can comment.
Yeah. So we'll always do a huddle right before, and then we do our we just call it 3 hugs, and so they'll go find 3 teammates and give them a hug and express that to each other, but express a little love to each other. But we also did yesterday, because we didn't have a locker room, our normal team prayer. We usually do a team prayer in the locker room. It's just a quick, or it's the Lord's Prayer. We all say it in unison, and then we go out to the field. But because there was no locker room, we just did it on the field.
Okay. I'm not trying to give away secrets or anything, just some observations
No, it's all good
for our fans out there.
Yeah, you would never see that because it's usually in the locker room.
Yeah, no, I like it. There's a lot of things Rio does that stand out that are different to me. Things that I noticed over the years. It's the prayer before the game in the locker room amongst each other. Captains holding hands. I don't know how that became a thing. Rio doesn't do that. I like that. My dad really likes that. He's like, we don't do that. Rio Hondo, he's great. We don't do that nonsense. You want to be brothers, that's fine. Brother teammates and everything, but captains holding hands, I don't understand that. Rio doesn't do that. And then the handshake at the end of the game. I always notice that the Rio coaches are at the back of the line, usually just in line with the players. Most other programs, the coaching staff kind of goes out in front, off to the side to shake each other's hand, but the Rio coaches are just in the back. I don't know if you guys talk about that stuff or that just became a thing, but it's thing like that I noticed.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to shake the players' hands, man. I like to look those kids in the eye because I appreciate what they're doing too, just like I appreciate our kids. And so I like to just congratulate them on a good game and be able to see them. And then then we will of course go talk to the other coaches and all that. But I think the players deserve that, our respect, the opposing players.
Definitely. Definitely. It's little things Rio does that really, are different in a good way. And we'll get into more stuff like that, observations, and kind of break down the program here throughout the season as we've been doing, because I have some other questions for you. I know you got to go here soon, but some questions that I want to get to eventually with you, kind of a preview, if you will, for fans and everything. Kind of what is a typical week of preparation? Mark, who are some outside coaches you've learned from the most? Just those types of things that we'll get to probably next week and beyond. I saw your D line kind of 4-point stance more than 3-point stances. Real quick, is that something you guys do for balance and for leverage or whatever?
Yeah, we like them to get as low and explosive as possible. And so Coach Corsini's our D line coach, and he meets with the guys and figures out what allows them to get the best get off on the ball and get to where they need to be the fastest. And so some guys will do that and they figure out the 4-point stance better. So yeah, that's what we do.
It's unique. It's unique. And you only got 3 down linemen, so it kind of sticks out. But yeah, I that was kind of my thought on it. You'd think it'd be a little slower, but no, the guys get off the ball pretty quick. So Mark, I'll let you go. Big game Friday. Saturday was pretty cool, man. A good win over Bosco Tech. Notre Dame lost at home to Cincinnati, and then those Bruins, maybe overrated Bruins, lost at home to Arizona State. SC's in shambles, I know. Oregon lost in overtime to Stanford. I mean, a crazy weekend for college football.
Yeah, didn't see much of it. Watched the UCLA game, actually, the end of the UCLA game, and a little of the Fresno State Hawaii game. But yeah, crazy day in college football, man. Just goes to show you those wins are precious and they're not easy. You gotta work hard for every win. So that's what we're hoping we can do this week and looking forward to it.
Yeah, I stayed up late watching that Hawaii Fresno game. That was good. And yeah, it's so funny. You look at a college football day and you're like, oh, you got the morning games, you get your afternoon, your evening. Okay, the Pac-12 after dark. And I'm like, no, there's got to be one more. And I can always count on Hawaii with that 9 o'clock kickoff. All right, Mark. Well, hey, good luck Friday. Big game. We'll be texting, I'm sure, during the week. But man, beat the Vikings, man. And for Rio fans, man, get out there and support the Cares, man. It's going to be exciting. Thank you for all the questions too. We hope to get more of that, Mark. Mark, final thoughts?
Yeah, it was great. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Friday there will be tacos, so if you want to eat some tacos early, so yeah. make it a day for it. And looking forward to a big crowd and a fun night on Friday.
Can't wait, Mark. Beat the Vikings. We'll chat next week.
Yep. See you, Matt. Thank you.
Always fun chatting with Coach Mark Carson here on the Get Home Safe podcast. We've been doing this weekly here for the past couple months. And I got to say, it's been so much fun kind of diving into the football program, breaking it down, recapping and previewing opponents. I mean, this is what it's all about, man. And I really appreciate the alumni out there who are tuning in on Facebook or on, wherever you watch the game, just checking scores. I mean, this was my goal with all of this, to kind of get people more involved, maybe the people that are in another state that don't get the chance to watch games or show up at games, to at least hear about the program, because people do care. No pun intended. The Rio Hondo Prep cares. The alumni do care about the football program. So we're going to keep this thing going here. And I love hearing from fans. Thank you, Jessica and John Lee and Nick Gonzalez. You guys heard there 3 very different questions, one specifically about the facilities, one about the playoff chances, and another about kind of the kids, the players themselves, and then kind of the tradition that is Rio football. So your questions, your topics, they really can be about anything, and send in those voicemails and emails. I always appreciate that. It's a fun little interaction here on the program, the Get Home Safe podcast program, talking about the Rio Hondo football program. So keep those questions and topics coming, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Mark loves it as well. And I hope you guys enjoy hearing questions and things from some of the alumni. Again, 3 very different time periods in Rio football there, from an alumni in the early 90s, Nick Gonzalez, early 2000s, Jessica Sanchez as well. She's by the way, married to a Hannah, married into the Hannah family, a great football tradition. We got to get some Hannahs on here to talk some Rio football. Great family indeed. So anyway, we'll get to all that eventually, but I appreciate everyone tuning in and sending in those questions. It's a blast. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get to our final guest of the day, our senior feature, I guess. Maybe we can call it that. We've had 2 other seniors on before this, Gio Ortega and Damian Diaz last week. So we're going to try to continue this. I don't know if it'll always work out, if those guys are available on Sunday mornings or whatever, but we're going to try to keep this thing going for now. So let's get to the Swiss Army knife, as Coach Carson called him, senior Calvin Johnson. Okay, I'm joined by another senior from the Rio Hondo Prep football team, Calvin Johnson. No, not Megatron from the Lions, but it is Calvin Johnson of Rio Hondo Prep. He wears number 2 on Friday nights or Saturday afternoons like yesterday. But Calvin, welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast.
Thank you.
Calvin, have you, I've asked your other teammates this, Gio Ortega and Damian Diaz. I mean, have you guys tune into this podcast at all? You guys find it interesting at least?
Yeah. I've heard a few people have watched it.
Nice. Yeah. On YouTube is a nice addition we've had here. I appreciate you joining me today. Calvin, you guys improved to 6-0 yesterday with a win over Bosco Tech. It was a little warm. I was there for the first half. You guys played hard despite the heat. Any comments on yesterday's game? It was hot. I know it was kind of a slow start for you guys, but what are your thoughts on yesterday's game?
Yeah, it was really hot, and I think it just took a few drives to get us warmed up, because we're not used to being playing games at 12 in the afternoon when it's like 90 something. So yeah, it took a few drives to warm up, but I think once we got going, then couldn't really be stopped by them. So yeah.
Definitely, man. And Calvin, most Rio players play both ways. You're a guy that you're kind of in the middle of everything. You play tight end mostly. You're also a linebacker. And Coach Carson said that you're a guy that kind of fills in everywhere. If someone's hurt or, need a replacement here, or a guy needs a break from carrying the ball, you kind of step in. So what does it kind of mean to you? Your role on the team is kind of being the Swiss Army knife, as Coach Carson says.
Yeah, it's cool to me because I get to play a lot of different positions, catch the ball, run the ball. And like when Ryan McCullough couldn't play last game, I stepped in at Fox. And even though I'm not nearly as good as Ryan, I tried my best. But yeah, it's cool, like getting to be on the line at tight end and then being in the backfield at Fox. And stepping up for the team when it's needed.
Yeah, you got a lot more carries yesterday with Ryan being out. It's interesting to me. You play tight end. You've been impressive with some pass catches throughout the season, but to get more carries yesterday, that's got to be fun for you too. What is more fun for you, carrying the ball or kind of running routes and catching passes?
I think I actually like both equally.
Okay.
Because catching the passes, usually it's usually it's like a short amount of time that you're in action, but running the ball, it depends on the hole that's there. But if you break away, it's pretty fun. If you get to run into some guys, it's pretty fun. But yeah, I think equally.
What I think is great about the Rio offense, especially, is, it takes the whole team as always, but the running backs really do have to block. They got to block well because sometimes running backs will get caught up in, they're doing everything but to understand that it takes everybody blocking and doing a job, including them sometimes kind of, blocking and running the ball. I've always thought, guys should be blockers and run the ball as well, just to kind of know what it feels like and depend on each other. So the running backs, all three of you guys back there at times, I mean, you got to block and be able to run to run the ball, right? You got to do both.
Yeah.
Well, Calvin, you played defense too. Of course, you did great work as a linebacker, kind of bouncing around. Do you like offense or defense better, or again, kind of equal, like the pass catching and running the ball?
I like defense better. I just think going out and hitting people and tackling is more fun. And I think there's just more action on defense.
You're my kind of guy. Awesome stuff. Another thing you do, Calvin, that I can appreciate is you're the holder on extra points, field goals. That's not a glamorous position by any means, but it's something that needs to get done. And Coach Carson, I think he told me that you guys get treated to in and out if you're perfect on PATs. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. By Mr. Clevenger. So if we go 100%, then he hooks us up with an in and out. But unfortunately, we haven't been doing so well lately. So kind of have to work on that. But we've been working.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's just repetition. Yeah, the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. Those three guys are just putting in the work. That's all it is. And it's cool that he does that as someone that, his team lost the championship game because they weren't perfect on extra points. So it's cool that he does that and contributes to the program that way. But when that ball goes off the crossbar or the goalpost like yesterday, and maybe it went in, maybe it didn't, are you guys bummed? Like, oh, we don't have in and out this week.
Yeah, we all kind of like watching. We're like, shoot, we could have in. Yeah.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to on the in and out order, since you guys do it quite often here, I'm sure?
Yeah, so double with everything except no tomato, and then animal fries, and then a pink lemonade.
Okay. Fuel, football fuel. That's awesome, man. I respect it. Good stuff. Calvin, you talked about you playing fullback yesterday. Your dad was a great fullback. Rick Johnson played, on a CIF championship team. One of the best athletes Rio's ever had, really. Does Dad ever talk about his playing days ever? Do you ask him, or does he kind of keep that to himself?
Nah. He makes sure to tell us about it. If you know him, yeah, I know. But it's cool, like hearing the stories that he tells about him and like his friends playing in high school, and then being able to like experience it myself. Because like growing up, like he just told us a bunch of stories, me and my brother, about playing football with his buddies and CIF stuff, and it's been cool. But like experiencing it, I think, has been even cooler.
Oh, definitely. It's got to be fun for you seeing this as a young kid, seeing Rio Hondo football. That's really what makes Rio special, is seeing it as a kid and then growing up into a player on the team. And you're a senior now. I mean, he's talked about it. It's cool to experience it. I mean, do you feel like time has really flown by? Can you believe that you're a senior with a handful of football games left here? Hopefully more into the playoffs, but has the time flown by for you?
Yeah, time has gone pretty fast, especially with COVID last year, being able to play only like 3 games. But yeah, like freshman year, I was like, dude, this can be a while. But like now that I'm here, I'm like, that really was pretty short, actually. So
definitely. Well, you mentioned, your brother Colby on the team. He's a sophomore, a lineman. I got to see him in person yesterday, working hard, tough-nosed football player. It seems like. What's it like playing alongside your brother, your blood brother, your actual brother. We all say, oh, playing with our brothers, as teammates and things. But what's it like to actually play with your brother on Friday nights?
It's actually really cool. Like it's a really fun like going out there and taking the field with him. And then sometimes, he makes a big hit, he comes over to me, hey, did you see that, Cal? Did you see that? I was like, yeah, I saw that. And then sometimes we end up on the same tackle. I help him up and then he's like, let's go. And then, it's cool for both of us, I know.
Oh man, I think a lot of us wish we could have played alongside our brothers. Some guys got those opportunities, and others, did not. But it would have been so cool to play with my brother, I know, on the same field. And so for you guys to get to do that, man, I hope you guys cherish that and enjoy every snap. So those are good things that happen with Colby. Is there any time, especially as an older brother, the senior, where you say, hey, why did you do that? Or, hey, do this better? Are you a little critical of him sometimes too?
Yeah. So Colby likes to, we call it pancaking people. And quite a few times he got called holding. So I'm like, Colby, you don't need to pancake someone every play. Like, I know it's fun and I know you're a big guy and you could do it. But like, if it's away from the play, if it's not necessary, don't do it because the refs like to call holding. He's like, and then most of the time, like he shows me on huddle, like after he's like, Count, this wasn't even a holding. And then I'm like, Colby, it still looks like a holding. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not always what happened. It's what it looked like. So yeah, it's tough. Those linemen, we love the linemen. They do the dirty work. And, but yeah, sometimes that's a bummer. Get those calls on him, but that's cool. He's got his senior brother to guide him and keep him humble. That's for sure. Calvin, I also want to talk about just the Johnson family. I mean, you guys, play on Friday nights for Rio Hondo, and I talked about your dad already. Your uncle, Randy, calls the plays. He's the offensive coordinator. And then your grandfather, Randall Johnson, was really the architect of Rio Hondo Prep Football, kind of took it into another level. So I'll ask you about, those guys. I mean, what's it like playing for your uncle and him calling plays on offense there for Rio Hondo?
Yeah, it's cool. It's a good connection because, we both know each other and like just being out there and playing for him, it's cool. And like sometimes what's it called? I don't know. It's just fun. Like sometimes he jokes with me and I could take it because he's my uncle. And it's just a cool like relationship we have.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And yeah, Mr. Randy Johnson, he's always been kind of a jokester and teasing guys and stuff like that. That's what we remember. I can only imagine as a nephew of his. Now, be honest, do you ever go to him and say, hey, Uncle Johnson, come on, Uncle Randy, how about you call a play for me here? Let me run the ball here. What do you think?
No. But he gives me his a fair share of the carries, and especially like when I'm playing Fox, when the starters are out, I get the ball pretty good amount of time, so I'm good with that.
Quite a bit, yeah. Hey, Uncle Randy, how about a pass play my way? It doesn't even have to be during the season. Maybe in the last year Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. Hey, let's run some more pass plays this year, Coach. Nothing like that, huh?
I know, but he makes sure to share the ball. So
that's cool. Yeah, he's a great offensive coordinator and was a great football player himself as a quarterback. Again, just a staple in the program. Really, his legacy really from his football teams were great. And then your grandfather, I know he's no longer with us, but is it special really to know that your grandfather really was the mastermind of kind of the birth of Rio Hondo Prep Football being as popular as it is?
Yeah, it is cool. Like I was pretty young when he got sick, so I don't really remember much, but just knowing that he started this legacy of Rio Hondo football and was like the person behind it is pretty cool. And playing on Friday nights, knowing that is pretty special to me.
Yeah. When you wear the Rio Hondo uniform, you're not just the Rio Hondo name, but the Johnson name. It's synonymous really with Rio Hondo football. So yeah, you and your brother both have a tremendous responsibility really to carry on that legacy. And I think you guys have done a great job watching both of you. Like you said, time flies. And so Rio Hondo Prep Football is very special to guys like me and alumni and everything. What do you make of Rio Hondo Prep Football? Being a senior now, what has playing for Rio meant to you?
I just think the brotherhood built by playing football. Like most people don't think it's much, but going out on the field with your buddies every Friday night, it's pretty special and builds character between us and bonds us pretty well. So that's pretty cool. And I think just the typical smaller Rio football team is cool, like beating up big schools, and it just shows our toughness. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. Great. Yeah. Well said. When you were a kid watching Rio games, did you have a favorite player or a few guys maybe that stood out when you were a kid or in junior high or whatever? Do you remember that far back?
Yeah. So I remember being on field 1 at Rio Hondo Prep at the school when the games were played over there. And I remember Alex Tycho being my favorite player, and because he wore number 3 and I wore number 3 in a Carey Youth League. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he was a stud running back. The great Tycho family, both Nate and Alex, great football players for Rio. But yeah, that dude was fast, man. He reminded me, him and JG, very similar. Just get through the hole and he'd be gone. But yeah, that's awesome. That's what it's all about, man. And I'm sure there's kids now watching you and your teammates who, in 10 years are going to be saying, oh, yeah, I remember watching Calvin Johnson. He was one of my favorite players. You don't wear number 3 anymore. Number 2, I think. Does someone else have number 3, or did it not just come in the jerseys?
No. So last year we got new jerseys, and Andy Lang took number 3, and so I had number 2. So he was a senior, so he got priority over that. So this year I just decided to stick with number 2. And Nate Curtis actually wears number 3, freshman. But yeah, I just think, I don't know. I've always worn number 3, but I've always liked number 2 too. So
yeah,
might as well just stick with it.
The Johnson number, I think Rick was 3, I think. So yeah. It's cool, man. Be your own guy. I like that. Rocking number 2, looking good out there. Calvin, football season's going to end here eventually. Unfortunately, high school's going to end, unfortunately, for you. But, what are your plans after high school? What are your thoughts of maybe pursuing or going into? What's on your mind come, when June comes around, when it's graduation time?
My plan is go to a university and study kinesiology and hopefully become a physical therapist or athletic trainer, something in that field.
Okay, that's awesome, man. What schools are you looking at?
CBU, so Cal Baptist University, APU, Cal State's nearby. Staying home.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, some great options there. Great private schools, the Cal States. I know your mom went to Long Beach State. I think so. Yep. You don't want to do that. If you go to Cal State, go to Cal State Fullerton, man. Let me tell you, but better school, I think.
All right.
I'm talking with your mom soon here on a podcast, I think. So we'll be chatting about that, and I'll tease her. But no, athletic training. That's very cool. What kind of gives you the passion to do that and pursue that?
I think just helping others in a sports environment is pretty cool to me. And I've always grown up playing sports, so still being connected to that, I think is just something I want to pursue.
That's awesome, man. And you know what? You're back to your uncle. This is what he pursued. He was an athletic trainer, was part of football programs. And I'm sure he can definitely give you some insight on what to do and things. Kevin Scarpio, Rio Hondo grad. He's an athletic trainer now, doing great things. He's been on the podcast before. So yeah, you got some definite resources you can go to and pursue that. So what would be the dream job then? If you could be an athletic trainer anywhere, where would it be?
Probably a big college football team, but probably more realistic high school. So
okay. That's awesome, man. Well, Calvin, I appreciate you jumping on the program with me, chatting about Rio Hondo football, the Johnson legacy and everything. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. What big game Friday night, big, huge game, Campbell Hall Vikings, your final homecoming game ever. And man, what do you think about Campbell Hall coming in?
Oh, we're fired up. We're fired up for a good game. We haven't had a decent game yet. So we're all pumped, and we know it's going to take a lot, and it's going to take everyone giving their full effort. So we're excited.
I can't wait, man. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's probably going to be the toughest opponent you guys face this season, at least in the regular season. And I know you guys are up for it. You're going to continue to work hard and get it done. So Calvin, thanks for joining us. Good luck on Friday, man, and beat the Vikings.
Thank you.
Take care, Calvin. Good luck with everything.
All right, you too.
Thanks a lot, Calvin Johnson, for joining us on the podcast this morning. Hope to have more of his senior teammates here on the program the next few weeks as well. And the Johnson family, special people. They're Rick and Valerie, great parents. Randy, we talked about his uncle, and of course the legacy from Randall Johnson, the architect of Rio Hondo football, if you will. Just special people, great name, synonymous with Rio Hondo Prep football. So appreciate Calvin spending the time with me today, and wish him nothing but the best. Continue the great work on those holds on the PATs, playing linebacker and, blocking and catching passes out there on the Rio Hondo Prep football field. So good luck, Calvin. Good luck to Rio Hondo this Friday, man. It's going to be an exciting game. Can't wait. Hopefully there's some Rio Hondo magic. You always need that when going up against an opponent who might be a little bit better than you, on paper anyway. So we'll see what happens. Can't wait to look at that game when I get home Friday night, watch it on film, and talk about it next weekend with Coach Carson and hopefully another senior. So guys, that'll wrap up today's show. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and for our 3 alumni who tuned in, or for sending questions, John Lee, Jessica, Hannah, and Nick Gonzalez, for writing out some emails there and sending in their questions and topics. Guys, I encourage you, please do that. We like the interaction. Send us a voicemail. There's links at the bottom of the episode here, and you can always see that on social media. I usually post something before the game on Friday nights or whenever the games are. But look for those links. We'd love to hear voicemails. If not, emails. You can text me, shoot me a message on Facebook, whatever. And as you guys saw today, the questions and the topics, they can be pretty much anything. So love to hear from you, alumni, parents, anybody out there. It's a lot of fun to have other people heard on this podcast than just me rambling away. So Coach Carson, appreciate the time, and good luck next week to Rio Hondo Prep. Guys, there's many ways to follow the Get Home Safe podcast. Facebook and Instagram pages are Get Home Safe Podcast. Our Twitter handle is Get Home Safe Pod, and our email address to send in those questions and topics is gethomesafepodcast@yahoo.com. My plan this week is to have a show on Wednesday. It'll probably be just me reacting to NFL and college from over the weekend and making some predictions going into next weekend. There's some big boxing news, that has occurred the past week or so. So I do want to get into some boxing if we get a chance. Just briefly talk about some fights that have happened, some fights that will be happening this upcoming weekend. Big one between Fury and Wilder. Fury Wilder 3 should be exciting. And then Manny Pacquiao retiring. I have some thoughts on that. So a lot of things to talk about. I'll try to get to that Wednesday on a quick 45-minute show. And then Friday, we're going to be joined by Katrina Gazarian. She is works in HR. She has her own podcast. She's a former basketball official. That's where I met her. So she has an interview we've recorded that I think you guys will like. Just something that is a little different perspective, different topics that maybe I don't usually cover here, but looking for, again, wide range of guests, wide range of topics here on the podcast. That's what we're doing on Fridays, and have recorded with some great people here recently that I'm going to continue to do stockpile episodes for our Friday episodes here on the Get Home Safe podcast. Thanks for the support, guys. Always appreciate it. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. Subscribe to this podcast, rate, review, all that good stuff. That helps me along the way. So guys, have a great rest of your week. Awesome game on Friday. If you can't get to the game, be sure to tune in on Facebook Live. The Rio Hondo Prep page is Rio Hondo Prep football page, but where they post the game live, Robert Braid does a great job of this. Rio Hondo Prep, just Rio Hondo Prep. Follow that page and you'll get the updates when it goes live. Rio Hondo Prep football, that's a separate page where you get, articles and pictures and things of that nature. But if you can't make it out to the game, definitely tune in on Facebook, and you'll be able to watch it after the game too, if you can't make it at 7:00 or whatever. So some options there. Hopefully Carefield is rocking, but if you can't, again, tune in on Facebook, guys. Go Cares, beat the Vikings. Guys, have a great rest of your week. Can't wait for the game Friday. But as always, guys, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.